These gentlemen are thinking of taking you for a little hike into the jungle.
I got involved in this crazy endeavour through a mutual friend of Kevin and myself. I was sitting in church. This guy turned around and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I have the greatest documentary story for you." Well, a friend of mine and a couple of other guys are walking along a refugee exodus route. So you should talk to them because they don't know anything about filmmaking or cameras, and maybe tell them what to expect. So I thought, oh, okay, that could be kind of fun. I'm a freelance, so I did the good freelancing thing and I sent them an email which just sort of explained who I was and what sort of services I could offer them. And the next day I received an email, probably the longest email I've ever received in my life. It was probably between 1,700 and 2,000 words easily. It was the entire history of everything from the refugee exodus of World War II all the way up to how Kevin was involved and how he met Michael and how the whole thing came about. And at the end of the email, he invited me to dinner, and I sort of went there with my clipboard of notes saying, oh, well, have you thought about this camera, and this is a certain kind of camera, and this is a certain kind of microphone, and this is how you use that. And Kevin was like, no, stuff all that. Within 20 minutes, he said, do you want to come? There is never going to be a time in my life where I am more free to go off and have an adventure than now. I've kind of been describing myself to people as a filmmaker that's learning to hike, not a hiker that's learning to film. The problems that come with that is that obviously I'm pretty terribly unfit. I don't know what it's actually like to get down and dirty and not shower and be bitten by insects day and night. But the good things that come out of that is that I can sort of approach the idea of an adventure through a filmmaker's eye. This is a real-world adventure that these people are doing with real-world danger, with real-world drama. I can now approach that with my documentary eye and think about how best to capture it, travelling with them. I'll be there every step of the way. Filming this trek is going to prove to be a huge challenge. There's a number of reasons why this is such a difficult documentary to produce. Humidity is terrible for electronics. It makes your microphone sound really damp. All the intake fans on cameras start sucking in all this moist air, which can potentially short things out. Of course, every time it rains, you have to cover the gear up as quickly as possible, and it rains a lot over there. So there are a host of challenges to think through, but that's part of the enjoyable process of this project, is attempting to film something in some of the most difficult circumstances in the world. And if I can conquer this, then I can conquer just about anything with my camera.